Parker Hammond was my young red-headed cousin who was diagnosed as an infant with mitochondrial disease along with ASCAB, scoliosis, epilepsy, cerebral atrophy, and eventually osteoporosis. His diagnoses didn't occur all at once. Throughout his life, his health significantly decreased and he was continuously diagnosed with a new disability. These diseases, along with his medication and his age, made him completely dependent on the care of other people. Parker's mitochondrial disease, which isn't curable but can be treated, certainly had a negative impact on his life. Mitochondrial disease is the lack of production of energy within the body's cells, resulting in poor function of the organs in the body. It is an Alzheimer's of the energy in your body, according to his mom and caregiver, Jamie. Oftentimes, Parker was sick and tired, and you could tell. His scoliosis as well as osteoporosis created many issues with his body to the point where he would have needed multiple surgeries to keep his body intact and just refrain it from imploding on himself. His bones were brittle and his muscles were nearly non-existent, resulting in an inability to walk and easily broken bones. In fact, his leg was broken by his caregivers simply by them picking him up to move him. Parker was also unable to speak to anybody. This is due to his disease and his medications that were given to help treat it. This created problems with his communication, which he eventually learned to overcome. He spent a lot of his time in a hospital room or in a group home. He was healthy enough he could come home to his family under the care of his mother and my Aunt Jamie, who I decided to interview. Jamie played the role of Parker's mother and caregiver throughout his life. Even while he was in the hospital, Jamie was there to take care of him, physically and emotionally. She was the one who communicated with him most. In my interview with Jamie, we talked about the difficulties Parker had communicating. Like stated previously, he was unable to speak, nor did he have the muscle to lift or move himself. He communicated the best he could, and Jamie was able to understand nearly anything he was feeling or wanted. For example, he would fidget with his mouth when he was hungry, and his eyes would become pink when he was sick. The biggest thing Parker was able to communicate was over his eyes, which showed that he was angry. So he'd pull his arm over his eyes like this, and then he would peek underneath his eyes to see if they were still looking, and if he looked back again, you could tell he was mad at you. That's something Jamie quickly learned in a hospital most of their lives. Jamie could also tell when Parker was happy and content and comfortable. When he was happy, he would sit quietly and watch movies with her or follow along with the book she was reading with him. Parker would give kisses with just little pecks on the lips for those people he loved. Family members could pucker their lips against his, and he would pucker his back, making the kiss out of it. If he turned his head away when you did this, you knew you were in trouble. His communication with his best ability was what made it special. Unlike any other toddler, Parker was unable to throw fits by screaming and kicking and throwing things. He threw fits in a way that was unique and to his best ability. Although Parker's disability was heartbreaking and devastating to watch unfold, my Aunt Jamie learned something very important from his experience. First, it taught her about communication. She explained how it taught her to listen to ways people communicate that are bigger than their mouths. Jamie's first answer when I asked her what this experience taught her was, "It taught me life's not fair, and you have to make the best of it the way you can." This response is truly admirable, and she took a good message from such an awful experience. She looked at her son like a human being rather than someone who is disabled. As she said, there is a living being in there, and you or I could be that living being in living in that broken body. Her heartbreaking experience with her son's illnesses shaped who she is today and made her realize that she would never want to take anyone for granted or make anyone feel they're less because they have a disability. And I think that's an important message to take away from her story.